Good morning, my lovely students. It's Mrs. Bodell, and we are chugging along, getting ready. We are on Chapter 4, Lesson 4, 4.4. It is page 271, and you will know you're in the right spot if you see adjust quotients and a little cafeteria meal here on a tray. So we're going to be continuing with long division, and we're talking today about how sometimes we kind of have to guess how many times something goes in. So let's take a look. It says when you estimate which digit to place in the quotient, your estimate might be too small or too large, so you may need to adjust the quotient. So let's take a look at this example. I think it'll make more sense. And we've done a little bit of this already. It says during lunch there were 144, I'm going to circle that, students in the cafeteria. The cafeteria has a total of 16 tables. How many students can sit at each table? Well, remember, we can subtract out. So we start with 144 students and we take out 16. That's our table 1. And we would subtract, and then we'd get our answer, and then we'd subtract 16 and get our table 2. But that's going to take a long time. So just like multiplication is repeated addition, division is repeated subtraction. So we're going to divide up 144 divided by 16 tables. And it says we're letting S represent that value. For some reason my pencils are showing up really light, so I'm going to use a pen today. Please use your pencil. I just want to make sure that you can see what the work I'm doing. So please use a pencil so you can erase it. Okay, so estimate. So we're going to use compatible numbers. So if we changed that to 140 and we changed this to about 20, then I can do 14 divided by 2 is 7, and my 2 zeros get crossed off. So my estimate is going to be 7. So let's try the estimate. So it says if we tried the estimate of 7, so then we do 16 times 7. So we have to multiply that out here. 16 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42. I carry the 4. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. 112. So it's 112. Now we go to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. Oh, that's a big number, Mrs. Bodell. But let's check. Is it bigger than my divisor? It is. So my estimate was too low. I've got to make it bigger. So let's try 8. So we're adjusting it. We did 7. Let's try 8. So 8 times 16. 16 times 8. We multiply this out. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. 128. Okay. So now we subtract. Oh, I can't take 8 away from 4, so I have to borrow. This becomes a 3. My 14 becomes a, my 4 becomes a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. Oh, wait a minute. 16 is equal to 16. So I can still fit a 16 in there. So it's still too low. So we're going to go up from 8. We're going to try 9. 16 times 9. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. Oh, look at that. It's exactly 144. I didn't memorize my 16 facts, and probably neither did you. That's why we didn't know that 16 times 9 is 144. So the answer, 144 divided by 16 is 9. Since S equals 9, 9 students can sit at each table. Check for reasonableness with your estimate. Is 7 pretty close to 9? It is. It is. And so, but sometimes our estimates, they're helpful, but we might have to adjust them. And so instead of writing it out first, that's why I like to do the multiplication first. If you need to pause the video here to take a minute to fill that out, go ahead and do that. If not, let's turn the page. Okay, this is example number 2, and it says to find 1,252 divided by 32. So it says if we estimated that 1252 becomes 1200 and 32 becomes 30. Now remember, I'm going to circle everything that's not a 0. I've got powers of 10 here. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now how many buddy zeros can I mark off? Just one on this side and one on this side. So there's one left over. So my estimate is 40. So we're going to try the estimate. Now that first number in my estimate is 4, right? So that would be my best guess of where to start here, because I don't know 32 into, watch this, it's not 32 into 1, it's not 32 into 12, it's 32 into 125. So I definitely don't know that fact. So I'm going to try my 4, because my estimate told me that the first number would be a 4. So now we do the math. We go 32 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, 128. Yikes. 128 is actually bigger than 125. See, I can't subtract. I've got more on the bottom. My estimate is too high. My estimate is too high. So we're going to go ahead and try to go down now. So we were at 4. It's too high. So let's try 3. So we're going to do 32 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So now we write that, 96. Now we subtract 125 minus 96. Well, my 6 is too big. I can't take 6 away from 5, so I have to borrow. The 2 becomes a 1. The 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. And 11 minus 9 is 2. So 29 is less than our divisor, so we keep going. So they have just written it here, you guys. It's rewriting the same exact thing. I don't know why we have to rewrite it, but this is the work we already did. Okay, so then we would bring down the 2. It's the work we already did. We just copied it over here. We just copied this over here because I don't know why they didn't give us room right there to finish it. Bring down the 2. Whew, 32 into 292. Oh my goodness, I have no idea. So what do you guys think? 3 gave us 96. So it took about 3 to get 100, and we have about 300, so we could try 9. It says to try 9. Let's try it. 32 times 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Carry the 1. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. 288. Now I subtract. I cannot take 8 away from 2, so I have to borrow. 4 is my remainder there. Is 4 less than the divisor? Yep. So it's 39, remainder 4. So the answer is 39, remainder 4. Check for reasonableness. What was our estimate? 39, remainder 4, and our estimate was 40. That is really close. So our answer is very reasonable. Our answer is very reasonable. Okay, let's look at this guided practice. Okay, it says Sarah was dividing 306 by 34 and got a quotient, the answer, remember quotient is the answer to a division problem, of 8, remainder 34. What's her error? So she went like this, she divided 306. I'm not going to do her work, but we do have to correct it, so we might as well write it out. And the answer she got had a remainder of 34. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? If the divisor is 34 and she had a remainder of 34, it tells you that another one could have fit inside. So she got 8 remainder 34. So let's do 34 times 8. 32, 24, 25, 26, 27. It was 270, and she has 34 left over. So if we add that 34 in, let's see, 6. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's exactly. So it's not 8 times. That's not 8 groups of 34. We had to add 1, so it's 9. So we do our math here. We do 9 times 34 is 306. We subtract, and we get a remainder of 0. So her error was that, remember, if your remainder or the answer to your subtraction problem is greater than or equal to your divisor, you've done something wrong. It always needs to be smaller than that number to be correct. It has to be smaller than that number to be correct. Okay, so now we just have some division practice, and so we're going to be doing that on the independent practice page. And we're not going to do all of them again. We're just going to do some. So 1,272 divided by 53. Which number goes in the house? The first number goes in the house. So I'm going to write 1,272 divided by 53. Now when I take a look at this, can 53 fit into 1? No, definitely not. Can 53 fit into 12? No, it's still bigger than 12. Can 53 fit into 127? Yes. How many times? So let's estimate how many times. Well, if we're counting by 5s or 50s, we know we can go 5 times 50 times 1 is 50. 50 times 2 is 100. 50 times 3 is 150. That's going to be too big. So let's do 2. So we put our 2 here, and now we multiply. 53 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. My answer there is 106. I write that directly underneath 127. Directly underneath 127. Now we subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. 2 minus 0 is 2. 21, Mrs. Bodell, that's a really big thing to have there. But is it smaller than my divisor? Yes. So we keep going. Bring down your 2. So now we have 53 into 212. Well, let's see. We were right here at 50 times 3 is 150. 50 times 4 would be 200. So we should maybe try 4. So let's do that math on the side. 53 times 4. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. And 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21. 212, Mrs. Bodell, that fits exactly. That's right. 4 times 53 is 212. I subtract. There's 0. There's nothing left to bring down. There's no remainder. So my answer for number 2 is 24. Let's cross off number 3. We're going to use those spaces, and we're going to do number 4. 5,243 divided by 71. Can 71 fit into 5? No. Can 71 fit into 52? No, it's still bigger. So we're going to have to go 71 into 524. Holy moly. So let's do some estimating over here. Let's do 70. We're going to just make a good estimate, and it has a power of 10. So 7 times 1, I know 7 times 1 is 7. We add a 0, 70. Times 2, 7 times 2 is 14. We add a 0, it's 140. Times 3 is 210. Times 4, 7 times 4 is 28, add a 0. Times 5, 7 times 5 is 35, add a 0. Times 6, 7 times 6 is 42, right? 42, 420, yes. 7 times 7, 49, add a 0. 7 times 8 is 56, add a 0. Okay, that's way too high. 560 is too high. So let's try 71 times 7. That our estimate was 490, and that would fit under it. So let's try. I'm going to do my math right here. 71 times 7. 7 times 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 7 is 49. 497. Does that fit? Sure does. My 7 goes directly over the 4 because that's the number, the 1's place for what we're dividing into. And now we already did the multiplication. It's 497. So we're going to line that up, and now we're going to subtract. Can I take 7 apples away from 4 apples? Nope, I have to borrow. This 2 becomes a 1. My 4 becomes a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Ooh, can I take 9 apples away from 1 apple? No, I have to borrow again. That becomes a 4. My 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 9 is 2. This is a lot of gibberish right there at this point. And so it's important that you're taking really good, careful writing and If we write sloppy, we're not going to know what we did. So it's important that we are able to see that that's an 11 now, 11 minus 9. Is 27 less than 71? Yep, let's keep going. Bring down my 3. Now, we can go back over here. This is why I like kind of writing out these estimates instead of doing it in our head sometimes, because we can go back up here. Let's find something close to 273. So 70 times 3 is 210. 70 times 4 is 280. That's going to be too big, so it's going to be times 3. So let's do 71 times 3. We have to do our multiplication. I just like to check it and make sure it's going to fit. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Is that going to fit? Yep. Okay, so we're going to put it times 3. 3 times 71, we know our answer is 213. I subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0. 7 minus 1 is 6. Mrs. Bodell, 60? Can a remainder be 60? Well, it can if my divisor is 71. Remember, it just has to be less than that. So my answer to this is 73, remainder 60. 73, remainder 60. Okay, let's do number 5. It's a little bit shorter. I want to do that one. We're going to do 115. The first number always goes in the house. Which number goes in the house? The first number goes in the house, divided by 23. Okay, so now we're taking a look at this. Can 23 fit into 1? No. Can 23 fit into 11? No, still too big. We're going to have to do the whole thing at once. So let's do some estimating. Let's turn that 23 into 20. Well, we could do it 2 ways, 20 or 25, either one, but let's do 20. 20, now that's a power of 10, so I can go 20 times 1 is 20, times 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 40, times 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 60, times 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 80, times 5 is 5 times 2 is 10, plus that 0 is 100, times 6 equals 120. Okay, so we're bigger than our number there, so let's try and do 23 times, well, 6 would be too big, so let's try 23 times 5. So I'm going to do 23 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15, carry my 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 115, exactly. So we know that 5 is my answer. 5 times that is 115. We subtract. There's nothing left. My answer here is 5. In case it wasn't obvious, we're skipping number 6 since I wrote all over the spots there. And we're going to go to number 7. 183 divided by 19. Can 19 fit into 1? No. Can 19 fit into 18? Oh, so close, but no. Can 19 fit into 183? It's going to have to, yes. So we're going to figure out how many times. Let's again make this 20. And look at, again, this is why I love writing these things down on my paper, because you can use them from different problems. So 20 times 6 was 120, so let's get bigger. Times 7 is 140, times 8 is 160, times 9 is 180. Ooh, that might work. Let's check 19 times 9. That's really close, 180 and 183. 19 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81. I write my 1 and carry the 8. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 8 is 17. 171. Will that fit? Yes, it will. I write my 9. 9 times 19, we already know the answer is 171. Now I subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 7 is 1. 12. Mrs. Bodell, can my remainder be 12? It certainly can if the divisor is 19. It's just got to be less than that. So my answer is 9. Remainder 12. 9, remainder 12. We are going to do one more problem on this page. We're going to do number 8 together, and that's it. You can cross off the rest. You're welcome. Mrs. Bodell loves you guys. Okay, 413 divided by 57. If I was to write that out, it would look like this. 413 divided by 57, because my first number goes in the house. Okay, can 57 fit into 4? No, way too big. Can 57 fit into 41? No, way too big. So it's going to have to go into the whole thing. Mrs. Bodell, I didn't memorize my 57 facts. You didn't? Oh, shoot. Me neither. So we could guess 50, but I like to guess over. And I'll tell you why, because then it's just something Mrs. Bodell likes to do, because I would prefer to guess over than under. So let's make it 60. 60 times, I'm going to skip 1, 2. Let's do 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Times 4, 24, add my 0. Times 5 is 30, add my 0. Times 6 is 36, add my 0. Times 7 is 42, add my 0. Ooh, okay. So that might be too big, but remember, we guessed high, so we can try it. So let's try 57 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. Will it fit? Yes. So we're going to put our 7 above the 3. We're not going to have any extra spaces here because we're going to multiply out to a 3-digit number. That is 399. I subtract. Can I take 9 apples away from 3 apples? No, and we're going to have to be really careful here because we're going to have to borrow again. So that becomes a 0. My 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. Can I take 9 apples away from 0 apples? No, I have to borrow. This becomes a 3. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. Can I have a remainder of 14? You sure can if your divisor is 57. My answer is 7, remainder 14. We are going to keep working on this, my friends. Keep plugging away. Keep working on this. You guys are going to get it. I promise you. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Great job. Remember, 1:30 today is our division boot camp if you need help.